What's happening? Guess what? We're not going on adventures. We're going on work adventures. We're in scrubs. It's time for another contract.
Yeah, first day in Texas, first orientation Texas. Everything is basically on site. There's no like pre-orientation, so straight into the shift. Me and the manager, we're gonna meet the charge nurse of the ICU and then get paired up. So
straight business from there. Exactly. See you guys on the road. Pete right there, he's making the energy drink run. So we're not a fan of energy drinks, but when it comes to night shift, starting the first shift, you don't know what to expect. You're fighting your own circadian rhythm. There's no way around it. Sometimes you just need a monster, get you through the time.
So we are on our way to our first shift at Austin. We'll see what's gonna happen. Meditech charting system. So we'll see some old school stuff. Never ever have I charted Meditech. And we went through orientation a few weeks ago. Like it was kind of like, it was pretty difficult. It's hard to find stuff, but there's gotta be some shortcuts. I feel there's always like shortcuts that like preceptors will teach you or other nurses.
I hope there's a copy and paste function on there.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, there's gotta be some like cheating or some chart cheating or something, but we'll scope it out. So like first day of orientation, I always try to kind of get the charting down, especially with the new system, just because, you know, you chart every day and the work's not done if it's not charted. So if you don't know where to chart something, you know, you're kind of wasting your time trying to figure it out. You know, if it's like 2 weeks down the line, 3 weeks down the line, and you're still asking for like charting questions, it's kind of like a little bit of annoying, you could say. And it's also annoying for you because you're always asking questions and where do I chart this, where do I chart that, instead of like nailing it down in the first week.
Yeah, and I hope they give us a decent orientation, because usually for first weeks, like in Cali, wherever we traveled, they go through the facility where things are, you get familiar with everything, you even get an ID badge. Here we don't have anything, we're just gonna show up to work, gotta walk in through the ER, and I hope they give us some kind of unit orientation, so we shall see what happens.
Yeah, I wonder how it's gonna go. I'm kind of curious. I think in Santa Monica, the charge gave us a little bit of a rundown, right, of the unit.
Yeah.
And then the preceptors also did, so we'll see what's gonna happen here. And I'm not even sure what floor the ICU is on.
And I'm hoping we get a lunch.
Yeah.
We're not in California, so we're not gonna have an hour break like we used to back in LA. Went to sleep, took a power nap, came back. Exciting things.
Right, it's been a while since we did like Midwest nursing where you had to eat and chart at your desk. You know, so we'll see how this goes. At least like a few minutes would be cool.
Time has come. We're getting out of the cars, we're about to proceed. When it comes to this contract, there's not a lot of good direction. It was a simple text of, hey, here's your clocking code, clock in, and just show up at the unit. So usually ED is the best place to go because it always lets you in. We don't have a badge, as you can see. So making our way towards the ER and see what happens today. What's going on, guys? We just finished our first official shift. Wasn't too bad. We're back on night shift. I'm feeling good driving home, to be honest. Gonna get some sleep. Round number 2 tomorrow, or today I should say.
Yeah, it's not bad. Orientation wasn't bad. Patients weren't bad. But if you notice on a schedule, it shows up as like 3 orientation days.
Yeah, which I'm shocked about. Everybody was shocked that I talked to. They're like, no way.
It's probably not gonna happen though, because I told my preceptor, he's probably, yeah, they probably just put that like that, but you're gonna probably have your own patients tomorrow.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, but it's not bad. Today, nothing crazy happened on this first day. I had one patient majority of the night, which is pretty cool. Pretty chill. She was not intubated or sedated, but she was on BiPAP and she didn't respond neurologically or anything like that. But orientation was pretty chill. Like we just like hopped on nursing. That's all we really did. There was no like, hey, read this before you do this. It was just, hey, here's a supply room. Here's where you're gonna shadow. And you know, the way I do business when I get oriented, I just, you know, tell them, hey, let me do my thing, and I'll just ask you questions. Whatever I need, I'll ask you. And just head around all day, basically.
It's very surprising how muscle memory comes back to you. Basically, all the skills that I had back in the day in the ICU just came right back after 3.5 months. Like, you know, it's like second nature. It's like muscle memory. It's like holding a flush. I was like, wow, it's a flush.
All right, like actually giving
so
meds,
fun.
like IV push. I tried to get labs on my lady, but I couldn't get it. but another nurse got it, which is not a big deal. But
Oh, like a stick?
yeah, it was a stick.
What's-
She had an HD cat, but they can't pull off them.
Yeah, what's cool is there's a vein finder on the unit. So my PICC line wasn't working, wasn't drawing blood, so I used the vein finder and got the got some blood.
Some things don't change. How PICC's not working.
Yeah, both my patients, the other patient, the PICC barely worked, man. I got it off one little white port. So they gotta start using
Cat flow. Or what?
before even CAFLO, they gotta have a KVO running, because I realized that they finish an antibiotic and they just saline lock it. Like, you should just run it. Leave that, leave that thing patent.
That's what I like doing. When I was back in Chicago, I always used to, if I like a triple lumen or a dual lumen, I always ran at least some 0.9 through like one port. Yeah, which is pretty.
And another
smart.
another thing that caught us by surprise was this whole charting system. So our ICU skills came back quick, but when it came to the chart, that was slow.
Dude, super slow.
It took some time.
Yeah, it's Meditech. And if you guys don't know Meditech, it's like the ancient charting system. Nothing's color coded. It looks like a basic computer program. Like when you go on like Windows 98 computer back in the day when a computer were kind of starting to trend. It's just black and white. Like, doesn't look pretty, and I don't know where anything is, and it's like kind of all over the place. Like, it's hard to figure out what you need to chart where. And then like my preceptor was showing me like, hey, you gotta press F12 for this, Z for this. I'm just like, shit, writing all this down like cheat codes, dude.
Yeah.
Because it sucks, and charting's not that long. You don't gotta chart a whole lot, which is cool.
I only charted one assessment
Yeah.
for the whole shift. That's neat.
Right, it's super neat. And then there's some paperwork that we gotta do too. I don't know if they made you do paperwork. There's like that hourly rounding sheet, and some other stuff. Strips, you gotta print those. That's per usual for ICU, I feel like.
Yeah, so one thing about this contract is I feel like I'm going back to the Stone Age. Yes, the charting system, but also writing stuff down. I was writing so much more than I ever have before. Same thing about Versed and fentanyl. You have to literally write out a complete, if you're completing the drip, you gotta write a sheet to complete it. And then there's another form that you write to start it. It's so weird. I've never done that before.
Yeah, it's so old school. It's cool, or it's interesting how you go to each hospital, and each hospital has like a different little protocol. And I feel like every time they instill like paper charting or something you gotta fill out, I feel like some mistake happened or some shit happened where the hospital added onto it.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened. The same way it was in California, where we had to do that little bullshit, like the insulin double verification, even with electrolytes. Like, it was super annoying, but they told us that, hey, something happened with a patient, so this is
You
why
gotta
we
take
gotta do it.
precautions.
Right.
One thing I feel like about the Meditech charting system is, because it's not so advanced, there is not a lot of opportunity for the top management to look at all this stuff to make sure it's working. Like, Epic is so damn
Detailed.
and I'm sure Epic gives reports, or right away if somebody's not charting something. I feel like Meditech doesn't do that as much, so the management doesn't look at things maybe as much. I feel like you can get away with more is what I'm saying. Not that you should be a bad nurse, but the plan of care stuff or some little shit that you forget, I don't think it's as of a big deal in this hospital.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's interesting. Even like labs were a little interesting. You gotta like scan the patient, like for labs you don't even gotta sign it. You don't gotta verify with anybody. You just send the sticker down with the lab.
Yeah.
Or with the blood, but you gotta do like some pre-stuff for it, which is like steps to get those labs printed. But it is what it is. So far I'm liking it. So far it's pretty chill. And we don't have an intensivist, we have an NP.
Exactly.
They sit there and they're on units, so that's nice. You go talk to them. We got a guy too. He was pretty cool. Nothing crazy.
Another thing I realized that I'm gonna do different this time around in this contract nursing is, I used to never write my meds down when I used to give it, because it was so easy to find on Epic or Cerner, and it was already like there in my face, hey, this is due at this time. This charting system is a little bit different, so I think I'm gonna start writing all my meds out on a piece of paper. It's easier to keep track, because that Meditech is not user friendly for those aspects.
Not at all. Doesn't even like cross off the med that you gave or anything already. Like, how in Epic or in Cerner it will change colors.
Yeah.
Nothing change colors, and like even a PRN's like is nicely grouped on Epic and Cerner, but this one everything looks the same. It's all one color. None's color coded. It's just plain black and white, and it's kind of boring to look at. But like you said, it's less charting for sure. For sure, less charting, which is awesome.
What matters.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, dude.
So a little charting, it's almost scary.
Yeah, but I like that kind of shit. And I feel like here we have a little bit more autonomy than we did in California, for sure. It's pretty cool. So we are off to another day at orientation. I think I'm properly adjusted to the sleep schedule. I'm actually going back upstairs because I forgot my water beaker. Gotta stay hydrated during night shift. So what's nice that we found out is that they have adequate staffing. So they actually are giving us 3 days of orientation on unit compared to typical one, which is super nice.
All right, we finally made it to the hospital. Last day of orientation. We're pumped. A little bit tired, no big deal. Night shift is kind of wearing us down. We'll give you a full debrief when we're driving home, let you guys know what it's all about and orientation in Texas. Chilling in a break room, about to have some food. As you can tell, I got some steak, salad, some sweet potatoes. So regardless if I'm working day shift or night shift, I'm always trying to eat clean and stay on top of my diet. I feel like when your routines change, whether it's crisis, hospitals, contracts, you name it, the first things that go is diet, movement, and taking care of yourself. So make sure you're always habitual with things like that. So no matter, like I said, days, nights, I'm always eating clean, staying healthy. Number one priority in your life, guys. Don't forget that. Some things are a little bit different from Texas versus California travel nursing is the breaks. So you don't have a break nurse. You basically have to ask another member next door, another staff nurse, to break you for 30 minutes. So that's all you get versus California. You get a full hour of break. So I kind of missed that. But as far as the system and everything, nursing, everything's the same. They're just a little bit different things when it comes to the electronic record. So Meditech is completely different. I feel like I went back 2 decades as far as charting because everything was on the EMR back in like Epic and Cerner. Here, you're charting a lot by paper. And it completely shocked me. Wasting medications, clearing the pumps. A lot of these things are done through paper. It's a little bit different, but it's okay because I'm gaining experience. So that's all that matters for me. I'm learning about myself. And overall, no matter where you go, I feel like staff is very helpful. They always ask if you need anything and vice versa. You always want to help out and be a team member because that's what matters. So that's all I have right now. I'm about to go munch out and get back to work. What's happening, beautiful people? We officially finished our 3 off orientation, ready to be full-time travel nurses next week. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it was nice because like that off campus orientation is so boring where they go over all the hospital policies and procedures. I'm glad we didn't have it here. I'm glad we just had 3 days of orientation on unit with a preceptor, which I haven't even seen ever.
Yeah, and that's what we really need. We don't need to have a class to go over how to put masks on or how to like use the glucometer, what labs to look out for, or how blood bank does things, because everything's very universal for the most part in a hospital. Just let me get to the point, let me know what I got to do, hop on orientation, and bam. So some differences that we've noticed in this contract is Texas versus Cali. That's where we previously came from. So the breaks, we don't have our 1 hour lunches like we did before. So I missed taking a nice long nap at work and then kind of getting back up. So it's been 30 minutes and there's no break nurse. So usually the nurse that's next to you will kind of cover your patients and you'll go take your 30. So that's one of those things.
Yeah, our contract did unfortunately get delayed 2 weeks. So we're like 2 weeks behind schedule, you could say. But it's not bad. We did also want day shift, but we got night shift. Also not a big deal because we haven't nursed in a minute, so it was a good little introduction to nursing because night shift's a little bit, not as fast paced, and you're able to take more time to do certain things. Right. And of course, the sleep schedule we thought was gonna be the worst, but to be honest, I haven't felt that bad. Like I feel better today on the 3rd day, maybe because I'm happy to be off work. But
definitely.
Like the first, second day still weren't too bad. I thought I would have a rougher time with it, but it just took me a little bit longer to wake up compared to waking up in the morning.
And that kind of circled back to your point, what you said about the start day. This just kind of shows that even though we're experienced travelers and we're being proactive and got our, onboarding done. Sometimes things won't work out, and you won't always get the start that you asked for. So just got to be kind of patient, going with the flow, and just be very resilient to travel nursing.
And regarding the paper charting, so I asked why did they do this? Is because they had mistakes happen in the past. So like we said multiple times before on our podcast, is usually they add certain steps, certain charting, or certain paperwork when someone messes up, you know. So this is probably what happened. It's probably why they do this paper charting. Well, I guess what I found out from you is that you can't select a blood pressure outside the room, which is probably one of the most inconvenient things ever. You gotta step in the room to select the blood pressure, especially if it's COVID. It's a pain in the ass. You gotta gown up, put that 95 on, and step in, step out. It's just a little time consuming.
Yeah, and I get it. They want you to be in the room to view your patient, but just like you said, COVID. And it's funny because they used to have Philips monitors. So
Yeah.
Philips monitors, you could do that, and they kind of wanted to step back into GE monitors, which are awesome because you don't need a Zoll. So if you're transporting somebody to CT scan, you don't need to have a separate monitor for that. You just plug it right out of the wall, the GE one, and you're good to go. That's convenient.
It's clutch. Yeah, two little travel nursing hacks. One is reimbursements. So your recruiter or your agency should reimburse you for the license, for any kind of time you took to do like CBLs or any kind of requirements that they push on you, like the modules. They should also reimburse you, maybe for transportation. Usually they do it. And what does they reimburse you for?
So we got our Texas license for the first time, working our first contract. Make sure you're getting paid for that. And then also like the NERC, so getting your license verified. We have a license in California. We got to pay $100 just so California can send some paperwork to Texas. Get reimbursed for all that. ACLS, you name it, get reimbursed for it. My CCRN expires this month. I'm gonna see if I get reimbursed for that.
Yeah, you might.
So try to use up the most you can out of your travel nursing company because they owe you
Money.
And that's really it. So orientation was completely different from all the other orientations we ever did. I think it's a great way to do it where you don't have that week orientation. Give us a couple days on unit. Let's get it cracking.
Yeah. And also the second hack that we didn't mention was talk to the manager or scheduler, because you might be able to get the schedule that you want. For example,
Yes.
Matt and I, we always talk to the manager or the scheduler, and they've always been accommodating to us. We have one car and there's two of us. So the manager was completely okay with us having the same schedule, which is amazing, because then this allows us to do the podcast. This allows us to have, free time at the same time, and we can work on things together. So it's very convenient. So don't be like shy to ask or think you're not going to get it. Just ask. Usually it works out in your favor.
Exactly. So just because you're a travel nurse doer doesn't mean you got to be working different schedules, different shifts. They'll make it work for you.
Yep.
And that's it. We're about a travel nurse, get things going here, and we're looking forward to the next 3 months. So hope you guys like these vlogs. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.